Hi, I'm Eloise. Welcome to Roberta's kitchen, and today we're making gnocchi.
Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my friend Eloise, and what she said, today we're going to show you how to make gnocchi. But there's a few things we should talk about first, isn't there, Ellie?
Yes.
So, what's the most important thing when we're cooking? What do we do first?
We
wash our hands. Okay, so we're going to wash our hands in a second before we get started. And we tie our hair back. Yes, so it doesn't get in the food. That's a good idea. And we wear aprons to keep our clothes clean, if you want to. It's not compulsory, but we like these aprons, don't we? Our beautiful linen aprons.
Yes.
Okay, a couple of things that you might want to have on hand if you're cooking. Scales for weighing things, and spoons and cups for measuring things. Because at least to start with, when you're learning how to cook, it's a good idea to weigh, to measure, and to follow the recipe. Just the first time. Then, especially with a bit of help from mum or dad, you can mix the recipe up and vary things to suit your own taste. All right, shall we wash our hands and get started?
Yes.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so Ellie, we're going to make potato gnocchi, which means we need potato, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. And potatoes often come like this, dirty, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is good because they're grown in the dirt, and when you buy them with the dirt on them, it helps keep them nice and fresh until you're ready to cook them.
Yes.
But before I cook them, I like to clean them. So under some running water, with a clean scourer, rub, 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 because once we make the gnocchi, there's another recipe that we can make with the potato skins that tastes so good. But we're not going to do that if the potato skins are dirty, are we?
No.
So we give this a clean, and then another trick. When we make gnocchi, we want to make sure that the potato is as dry as possible. The less water we add to our gnocchi dough, the softer it'll be. And one of the ways that we make sure it's dry is we cook it on a bed of salt.
Yes.
Because salt draws out the moisture.
Yes.
Yes? So we'll get rid of this. Now remember, we need rock salt for this, not regular salt, because it would also be wasteful to use regular salt, but rock salt's pretty inexpensive. So we put some rock salt on a tray.
Whoa.
I'm going to give this potato a scrub and then pop him on the rock salt, and that's going in the oven for a good hour, hour and a half. So we'll come back when the potatoes are cooked. I'm going to do a few and then we'll do the next step. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So our potatoes have been in the oven for an hour and a half, depending on the size. We actually cooked this one for longer, didn't we? That was in there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The little guys probably only need about 60 minutes. But it's okay to leave them in there until the largest one is soft. Now, how do we check that it's ready, Ellie?
We poke it.
We poke it with a skewer, and what happens? But did you notice when you poked it with the skewer went in really easily?
Yeah.
If that wasn't cooked, if it was a hard, raw potato, the skewer wouldn't go in so easily, would it? No. So it's going in nice and easy that we know it's ready. Now, we need a bit of space here, so I'm going to move these and then I'll bring just the potatoes back, okay? Yeah. All right, let's do that. All right, so now we're going to make our gnocchi dough.
Yes.
Flour? Do you want to sift?
Yeah.
Okay, look at that. And we don't need a bowl, we can make it straight on the board.
All of it?
All of it? Keep on going. All of it? Okay, good, that's our flour.
Yeah, you got it all.
Now, we need two gadgets.
That
We need
one
this and we need a knife.
Yes.
So, we cut our potatoes in half.
That's the big one, and all the other ones next to the big slice is all the little ones.
Now, we want to keep going while they're nice and hot, okay? Here, let me do this part. Just, there we go. Okay, so there's number one. Now, what we want to do, see how nice and dry that skin is?
Yeah.
We can brush this with butter and maybe a little bit of soy sauce, pop it back in the oven and make the yummiest snacks. So we'll save those. Let's keep going.
For another recipe?
For our yummy snacks.
Yes.
So there we go, Ellie. There's our last one. You squeeze that on for me. Hold it up nice and high. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Out it all comes. Beautiful. Okay, it takes a bit of muscle, doesn't it?
Well, I've got muscles in here.
Okay.
You don't really know.
Let's get rid of this. Now, that's going to be hot. So we're going to use our pastry scraper to mix it all together. A good pinch of salt. We always need salt when we're cooking.
Always need salt.
In with our eggs. Let me do a bit of a mix up first and then we'll get you in there, okay?
Okay.
So we have our eggs, our flour and our potato.
And our salt.
And our salt. Very important.
Yes.
Salt is so important for flavour.
Never forget your salt in this gnocchi.
Always remember your salt when you're cooking. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to come together yet, does it? But
no.
Trust me, it will.
It will.
Now, the other thing when we're making gnocchi we need to remember is we don't want to work it more than we have to. Remember I said that we cook the potatoes on the salt to keep them dry? That's okay. The other thing we do is we don't work it any more than we have to help make them super light. Now, I think we can get in there with our hands, Ellie.
Yeah.
It's a little bit warm, but you dive in there like this. All of your hands, grab all the dough. You've made dough before, haven't you, when you're making cookies or something? So that's it. Let me just bring it all together now. You're going to get in there and
My hand.
it's light. There's not much flour in there. It's mostly potato, which is what we want.
And look at my hands.
And look at your hands.
This
This is why we wash them, yeah?
Yes, this is why we
Exactly.
always wash them.
All right. Because what?
Because obviously it's important to wash your hands because you never know what is going to be in this food until you make it.
That's right. So we're going to touch it with our hands, so we need to make sure they're clean.
And
Now,
she's also a professional.
I think you're a professional too today. Now look, we've got that dough. It's holding together like a dough. We can see a little bit of the egg yolk in it, but I don't want to mix it too much because I want to keep it light. So let's say that's ready. Let's clean up our board. So that's another important thing when we're cooking. We clean as we go. We constantly clean down our board and make sure we have a clean space to work with, right?
Yeah.
It makes things easier.
Yeah.
And it makes the cleanup easier at the end too.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back in a second once we've cleaned up. Okay, so Ellie, we've broken our dough up into 3 bundles to make it easy to work with.
Yes.
We're going to put a little bit of flour on our board.
As we did the last time.
Oh, this is very little though. This is just for the rolling.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to take each of these ones, and this is where we start having fun. I'm going to give you 1/2. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pop it down here on the board, get those out of the way too.
So
And what are we going to do?
we're gonna
Roll them into a sausage.
and you always have to make it thin so the gnocchi is the same size, but also we need it to be a little bit small, but not too small.
That's exactly right. We want to keep it about the same thickness, don't we?
Yeah, I have to keep it about hers.
Show me. I think you're nearly there.
Yeah, I think that's actually.
Okay, yep. Now we're going to cut off little pillows. You can use a knife, you can use a spatula, that size is good. There we go. Just put them aside once we've cut them. There we go.
Yeah.
That's right. If you've got a nice firm spatula, you can just use it like a knife, can't you?
Yeah, like that one.
Yep, that's a great size. So Ellie, now we've got our little pillows of gnocchi. We could cook them just like this. We could boil some water and pop them in and they would be gnocchi.
Yeah.
But in Italy, especially in the old days, the way the nonnas, so nonnas are Italian grandmas,
Yeah.
the way the nonnas used to make gnocchi was to roll it down a board like this. Okay, I'm going to put it at the top and then I'm going to roll it down. Now you go.
So do I go like that high?
Yeah, that high's good. Beautiful, look at that. All right, let's do a couple more. Get it, oh that one's perfect, okay. And do you remember why we like these little grooves in the gnocchi? Because it puts little spaces in there that the sauce can get into and cling to.
Yeah.
We can cook them just like this, but it's nice to have those little spaces.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, all right. Our gnocchi can now go onto a tray with some flour so they don't get sticky, and then we can get our water ready to cook them, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so Ellie, we have all of our beautiful gnocchi here. We've just dusted it lightly in some flour so it doesn't stick. Now we get to cook it.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have some salt here.
We have some salt here. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thanks for the segue. So, I have a big pot of water boiling behind me, and I know there's 3.5 litres of water in that pot.
Yeah.
So that means I need 35 grams of salt. We always cook gnocchi or any pasta in well salted water.
Yes.
10 grams of salt for every litre of water.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Shall we go to the stove and get cooking?
Yep.
All right, let's go. So Ellie, our water's come up to a good boil. Do you want to pop the salt in for me?
Yes.
Now you have to tip the whole thing, honey.
Seriously?
Yep, seriously. That's it, good girl, that's perfect. Yep.
Can you do it now?
Yeah, I can do it now. Now, we'll cook about half our gnocchi at a time, so let's get them into the water. And you know what? They are ready as soon as they float. That's one of the good things about gnocchi, they cook so quickly. Let's let that come back to the boil, and then we're going to scoop them out into this iced water here to cool them down quickly.
Yep.
So there we go, Ellie. Our first one's floating. We can catch him and put him straight into that iced water. And look, here come the others. Once one comes up, they all start pretty quickly. So that's it. As soon as they float to the surface, they're ready. I think we did a pretty good job, Ellie. What do you think?
Yeah.
They look good, don't they?
Yeah.
Feel them. Are they nice and cold?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And they're super slippery and they're super soft.
they're going to be super yummy too.
Yeah.
So they came out of the boiling water into iced water. Most of our ice has disappeared now, but that's okay because it's done its job. But what we need to do is dry them off. And you don't have to do this step. You can take them straight out of the boiling water into the sauce if the sauce is ready. But the good thing about gnocchi is we can also make them ahead of time, which we've done here, cool them down, dry them off, toss them with a little bit of oil, and then we can go away and deal with them tonight. So we can make them in the morning for dinner tonight. We're not going to wait until tonight. We're going to make some sauce and we'll eat them soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to spread these out in a single layer on a tea towel. Nice clean tea towel. And I'm going to bring that over here and just pat them dry gently because we don't want to squish them, do we?
No.
No. Then a little bit of olive oil on a plate. A little bit. Good amount. We'll be generous.
Good to nature.
Pop them on there. Whoops, they are nice and slippery, aren't they?
Yeah, this was what I was saying.
A little more oil over the top. We'll roll them around so they're well coated, and then we can just put them aside while we make our sauces. That's gnocchi, Eloise. That was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, happy gnocchi making.